Oi, 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 oi! No, 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 no. This better be another Hiromashima troll moment. You spared Gajeel. Don't you dare make sure that you don't spare Juvia. Oh my God. Oh. Well, we need to calm ourselves down. Calm down. We all know how fairy tale works. So the only problem is, are we allowed to cry now, or should we wait until the confirmation is very clear that she's going to stay dead, and or anything else? Yeah, that was so serious business that I had to take off my glasses. Hi, for those who are watching. The Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer, is here to bring you, yes, the fairy tale chapter, and yes, I technically spoiled the entire chapter for you now, didn't I? Well, just still look at what I said and what I wondered. What do you mean, Juvia? Did Grey just kill Juvia? No, not exactly. Turns out that Invel, how calculating he is, seems to underestimate one thing, and that is love. As their minds make them clash against each other, we see for the first time in a while Juvia's hot water, which can actually hurt Grey. Of course, Grey is too powerful for Juvia. Oh, and by the way, on a perverted scale, turns out that Juvia actually do wear underwear under that skirt. When she was in Tartarus, there were some hints that she didn't, which is, well, given how she was thrown, I'll say it's appropriate that she was wearing anything any this time. As Invel, in his evil, continues to say that this is just as a calculating, the sin of taking one's life from Grey will eventually bring forth an ultimate warrior. He remembers the time when Seraph continued to look in his pocket back when Natsu still was young and alive. And here again he shows his loyalty. For him, he believes Seraph will not only defeat Acnologia, but grasp this entire world in his noble hands. Okay, Seraph have been a mysterious villain, that's for sure. I mean, he he looks like a typical despair type of villain. You know, those kind of characters that want to punish the world because the world punished them. I mean, I think that's why I've always related to Seraph. But then Seraph had enough after the Eclipse Gate and Hades' hands, so he now decides no, humanity has to die. So now he's a full-fledged villain and has foregone all of his emotions. But the way Invel says he's gonna grasp this entire world in his noble hands, either he sincerely believes Seraph is gonna rule this world, or he's in completely ignorance of what Seraph originally wanted to. He said that this was gonna be a massacre, a genocide. He was gonna destroy this world, and he along with it. He's not gonna. Is that what in hell means when he says he's gonna grasp the entire world into his noble hands? But the only thing that stands in his way is END, which is Natsu. As Yuvia can still talk in her mind, she is not exactly sure what she's going to do. Because the biggest crime for Yuvia was going to be to take Grey's life. And even though she wants Grey to end her life, she knows very well that Grey cannot forgive himself if he does. So Yuvia takes the third and only option, that despite the ice lock prevent freezing their hearts, it's Yuvia still has the willpower to do one last thing, and that is stabbing herself. And the tragedy is that while she was in thinking about that, Grey did the exact same thing and stabbed himself, because he also couldn't bear the sin of having to hurt a comrade. He wanted to protect Juvia no matter what. So the two of them fatally stabbed themselves, which in hell cannot comprehend. And here again, people may People argue that Invel is not that bad of a character. He is bad, okay? If a guy who cannot understand, he's a guy who cannot comprehend good. This is typical. Evil cannot comprehend good. He cannot comprehend how two people would rather stab themselves than kill one and the other survive. He doesn't understand the love fairy tale have for themselves. So, and he considers he the dad everyone has standards because he couldn't comprehend how, for him this is not rationally. I guess this must mean that Invel fears death. And here comes the real sadness. Although both of them have fallen, Grace suddenly feels alive because his heart has been healed. And the reason for that is because Juvia injected her blood using a water make blood magic. She sacrificed her blood to heal Gray's wounds. So Gray lives, but Juvia doesn't. As she thanks Gray with her last words, she says that Juvia's life will forever belong to you, Gray Summer. Gray can only cry as the girl who has always been by his side and despite stalking him with some creepy moments have never been wrong with her loyalty to him. He can only cry as that girl who has always been by his side has now left him. He remembers all the time they had together and how much he wanted to take her feelings into himself. And for now it seems that Juvia has passed away. Granted, however, this is Hiromashima's son. He never kills off an important character, he only kills off side characters. I mean, people complain a lot that the characters for Fairy Tail are not dying. But I'm still saying, even if they're not dying, you have to admit it's an emotional moment every time one of those characters die. Because also you have a very difficult time watching the anime after that, because you know that character is gonna stay dead. So I do not mind if Hiromashima brings back his characters. In fact, I wanted Romeo and his father to die. I mean, that would have been sad, but at least that would not have been as sad as this. This is just wrong to kill off Juvia like this. I refuse to believe Juvia is down forever, but at the same time, Gaggia was taken to the underworld and the magic of another saved him while he was taken away. So I really wonder. I don't think anything can save Juvia now because she has passed away. But she has perfected that water make blood transfusion magic just for a moment like this. So, indeed, the rain falls, as Invel suddenly stops by sensing a very deep chill in his body. He turns around, and into his shock that is Gray, his hair standing up, his rage greater than anything else before. Now, to take revenge for the woman he loved begins now. The question is now, has Gray now fallen to the darkness just like Invel predicted? I mean, his hair is standing right up just like when he always used his maximum Devil Slayer magic, but he doesn't have a marking on his body, so I guess it's not. And the fact that Invel is now shaking seems to hint that Gray's magic has become even stronger than before. The scar on his chest is more... this has become not stronger than ever. But you have also to realize one thing. Gray is a character that has always had tragedy in his life. Don't get me wrong, he has had much light into his life, but many of his loved ones have left him. Think about it. You say Natsu had the saddest life, from having been abandoned by Igneel he fought, and then when Igneel showed himself and then killed by Acnologia. Yes, that was tragic, but in a way I feel Gray has had a much more tragic life than Natsu. First off, his parents killed by Deliora. He's taken in by a master he didn't appreciate until he disobeyed her orders, and she sacrificed her life to make sure he lived. Then going around the world until he came to Fairtale, but then came back. This ice melted Deliora and sealed Ur's legacy, but also killed Deliora. But then he met Ultir, who was almost like like a big sister to him, only to have her end her life or her time, when Grey died. And finally meeting his father, enslaved by the demons, who he had to kill by his own hands. And now the woman who has always stood by his side sacrificed her life to make sure he lives. Yes, that is definitely a tragic life. So please, Grey, destroy Invel now. He is unforgivable. But next week's title, which by the way will turn Fairytale into chapter 500, maybe I should do a video of the spoilers once it comes out. It's called Fire and Ice. That title doesn't sound so very much full of hope. But another way also, Grey said he couldn't bear himself killing a comrade. What will he say once he finds out what E&D is, huh? So, will Yuvia stay dead or not? I don't know. All I know is, give me your thoughts if you have any.